So I finally updated the rosters to match this season. Chris Paul is on the Suns, Bogdan and Gallo are on the Hawks, the rookies are all on their respective teams, which means yes, we do have Tyrese Maxey on the roster. However, our backup point guard will remain Ish Smith. Tyrese will get his opportunity next season, but also obviously Drew Holiday isn't on the Bucks, Aaron Baines isn't on the Raptors, Josh Richardson isn't on the Mavs. As a way to compensate for this, I sent Robert Covington to the Bucks since the Blazers traded a first that we now own in exchange for him. I would have traded the Bucks first back to them, however 2K hadn't traded over those picks in the first place, so they saved me the effort, but you need to update that one, 2K. Also, speaking of the New Orleans Pelicans, Steven Adams is back on the Thunder because the Pelicans have Al Horford, not the Thunder from the trade we did in the first episode of this series. Also, Dwight Howard is on the Phoenix Suns now. In hindsight, I should have added him to the Raptors since they lost Gasol, Ibaka, and didn't get Baines because we did, but it's too late to make those changes because we are at the end of the season and I can't reverse it. Also, Aaron Baines now has the $7 million a year for 2 years that he signed with the Raptors just now on our team. I wanted to offer him that, but for whatever reason 2K wouldn't allow me to, but now he has that money on this team. But with the last 10 or so games left, we are probably going to end up as the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, which means we will likely match up with the much disappointing Miami Heat in the playoffs. There's a chance they move up and we play the Atlanta Hawks, which I would much prefer, but it's looking like that will be who we play in the first round. But I wanted to do one more regular season game before the season officially comes to a close, and a game versus the Phoenix Suns, who in this simulation are somehow the #1 team in the Western Conference. Apparently 2K thinks the addition of Chris Paul makes them better than the Lakers, so let's see what we can do versus what is apparently the best team in the West now. Alright, for this last game of the year, I want to address some of the common questions that I'm getting in the comment section about this series and about the gameplay, as well as kind of a tiny rant. I don't want to frame it as a rant because it makes it sound like I'm way more annoyed by these things than I am. I just want to address a few things. So first of all, the difficulty that I am playing on is, in the past it was, I think, Superstar with adjusted stamina. Now it is Hall of Fame and sometimes beyond Hall of Fame depending on my matchup with adjusted stamina. That's pretty much the only difference between this and Hall of Fame at the difficulty that it's at now. I started off on Superstar because there were some things with 2K21 that I had to adjust to gameplay wise. Now that I have adjusted to them, I don't need to play on a lower difficulty because I don't know if you guys knew this, but 2K against the CPU is not hard, and I'm playing with a very good team, so I tend to win most of the times. There have been 2 games that I have recorded in this series that I have lost, and both of those games I didn't upload them because they were boring games. I've recorded a couple games we've won that I thought were boring. I wanted to keep most of these games at least semi-interesting, so that's why you're only seeing wins. Also, that's why you're seeing me play well, is because I'm showing you the games where I'm doing well, and on top of that, I'm cutting the clips, so you're not seeing me take shots that aren't going in most of the time. You're seeing all of my successful possessions for the most part. I'm usually not showing me missing unless it's to highlight something for some reason or another. And on top of that, another thing that I have adjusted with sliders is, just as you saw one there, I have contact dunk tendency turned down, or contact dunk frequency turned down. 2K apparently adjusted this in a new update, but it's not just a Ben Simmons thing. Literally, contact dunks are OP as hell in this game, so that's not just a Ben Simmons thing, and then because Ben Simmons is already OP, I'm able to do shit like that, so that's another part of the sliders. Like, I'm tired of having to be like, no, I'm not playing on rookie difficulty, because 2K against the CPU is just simply not hard to do. So yeah. Also, I changed a bunch of the releases in this game. Apparently someone thought that was cheating. If you think that's cheating, I'm playing against the CPU, man. This isn't against other people, so I don't care. It's no more cheating than changing your release in my career or changing your release for fucking Park. Like, I find that argument ridiculous. As for everything else outside of the slider stuff, I'm not going to play on 12-minute quarters. It's just exhausting to edit that because you get like over an hour's worth of footage. I have normalized minutes on so that the stats adjust based on the fact that I'm playing 8-minute quarters, but I'm not going to be changing the quarter length or anything like that. Also, as for the length of these actual videos, I like them to be around 8 to like 13 minutes. I know people traditionally expect Rebuild and like My League series to be like 20 minutes an episode. I like formatting these in the ways that I have them formatted, and I don't plan on changing that for any reason. But that's just like the three main things that I'm getting stuff about. So let's get into this close fourth quarter versus the Suns and actually talk about the game. CJ just hit 2 very clutch threes, and I managed to hit that one with Gary Trent stepping behind the line. Gary has one of those releases where I seem to make it even when contested. Then Chris Paul basically gets a charge against Jrue Holiday right there, run the pick and roll with Ben Simmons, and then I throw the lob, and he slams it all over DeAndre Ayton and one as well. Also, the audio for this game has not been on because this is the new My League file and I forgot to turn the commentary off. Devin Booker misses that one, and then Ben Simmons tips it out to Gary Trent, then Jrue on the break to CJ, and then once again an alley-oop for Ben Simmons. So 2 and 1 alley-oops for Ben Simmons to close this fourth quarter versus the Phoenix Suns. But it's not over quite yet, as for some reason I left Chris Paul wide open for 3 and he gets that one to drop. CJ, coming off of the screen, goes for the mid-range shot and gets that one to drop, giving us a 5-point lead. And then the Suns trying to put up a shot. Thibault blocks Devin Booker. He recovers it, kicks it out to Mikal Bridges. He misses that 3 out of the corner. Ben Simmons gets the rebound, trying to avoid getting fouled. I turn it over. They pass it to CP3. He drains this 3-pointer. But off of the inbound, I get it to CJ and just chuck out the full court shot, and the clock expires. Ben with 27 and 13, CJ with 21, another good game for him. Tobias Harris scored well off of the bench, and yeah, that wraps up our 2021 season. So finishing off the season, we end up as the 3rd seed with a 52 and 30 record. Ben Simmons does not win MVP. That went to LeBron James. As you'd expect, Rookie of the Year went to LaMelo Ball. 6th man went to Dinwiddie. Defensive Player of the Year to Kawhi. Most improved to Chris Boucher, and Executive of the Year went to me, though apparently in 2K my name is Jamie Freeman and I don't have to wear sunblock anymore, so that's something. Ben Simmons made All-NBA first team as the best center in the NBA this year, and both Jrue Holiday and Ben Simmons made All-Defensive first team. So clearly the best year of Ben Simmons' career, and it looks like the Ben at center experiment has been completely legit, which is funny because originally I didn't even really plan on putting Ben at center outside of situationally, but then I made those trades and realized, oh wait a minute, I don't have a center. Also, those 2 defensive team selections highlight our elite defense. If you were wondering, yes, we did finish with the best defense in the league, and our offense, after starting the first 15 or so games as a bottom 5 offense, ended up at 19th in total, which still is not great, but better than where we started for sure. As for a wrap up for our players, Ben ended the year with averages of 23, 15, and 7. CJ's averages jumped up to 24 a game as he went on a tear to end the year. Jrue's averages went up as well from where we last left off, and Gary Trent's 3-point percentage skyrocketed to 43%. Everyone else stayed relatively the same. I definitely call this regular season a success, but I'm more interested in what comes next, the playoffs, and unfortunately, we won't get a cupcake matchup. We will indeed be playing the Miami Heat in round 1, so stay tuned for that in next episode.